Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here. I almost get my Mario's voice into my head. And hi, it's me, Sylvester here. We are back once again for the likes of the Moxie Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Wii U. So last time we managed to explore for World 3, and now we're going to continue on and move on to World 4. So, yes, it has been a really long time since we actually come back into this game because of how the fact that we recently managed to almost entirely completely done with the retrospective wise between, I would say Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces and stuff like that. It has been about for almost 7 months, so even then though, that, and also not to mention the couple of Let's Plays will be recently completed and recently done, but even then though, that we decided to actually I felt incredibly bad for actually left out, almost completely left out for both either Banjo-Tooie and Super Mario 3D World and Luigi's Mansion, so we figure we might as well have to come back into these games exponentially. So even then though, that we might as well have to do Super Mario 3D World first before we actually get into Banjo-Tooie and Luigi's Mansion eventually. So here we go folks, on to the first level in World 4 and Trooper Hill. So in this case, the character we're about to be using in this level is Luigi. So in fact yeah. So as far as this level suggests is that we're actually going to be exploring for this particular point where we have to climb up because obviously there's going to be a lot of ants going to be involved. So even then though, that yeah. And also that does sort of almost reminds me of the DreamWorks film Ants. So because of that though, because there's quite a lot of ants in there. So yeah, speaking of ants, these are these new enemy types introduced in this game in particular. That you can only defeat them while simply just either I don't know, like use the invincibility star or something like that, or even just use the claw attack as your part of your cat suit, or even something else entirely different. So unfortunately though, you can't actually jump on those guys because well, at least you can if I recall correctly, even though I might be wrong about that. But even then, I will have to wait. So even then, because of this though, it has been a really long time since I actually did come back to this game because, you know, a couple of Let's Plays will be doing, excluding the likes of Mario Party Star Rush and all that stuff. But even then though, that since we only got about a month left since Super Mario Odyssey is about to come onto Nintendo Switch, so I should able to be still excited for it. So at least I was really hoping that we can actually finish this game Let's Play wise until when Super Mario Odyssey will come around on the exact same day as when we actually decide to finish this game. So, and also same applies to actually watching ourselves My Little Pony the movie 2017 version. So in fact, speaking of such though, is that during 3 days ago actually, that Sia, one of the Australian singers, did manage to recently release a new song that's only specifically for that particular movie, My Little Pony the movie, as I mentioned earlier. And that was, I believe the song was actually called Rainbow. So even then though, can't wait to actually listen throughout, even though technically we've already listened to it, and it's actually really gorgeous. Even especially most notably, the best song I can think of for the Sia songing performance. So, at least to me though. So, yeah, you can go down there if you want to actually grab yourself some more coins just from the start, but it's most likely it just takes you back from over here if you manage to actually go to the bottom rig. So, okay, now we need to equip ourselves our Cat Luigi going on here because of the golden flagpole. In fact, the reason why that we decided to actually go for Super Mario 3D World first, before we actually get into like, I would say Luigi's about to go back into Luigi's Mansion eventually. That because of this though, we need to actually get these games Let's Plays done and finished before we don't get any sort of delays. So, at least excluding the likes of these newer playthroughs coming out too. So, like for instance, next month we'll be doing Sonic the Hedgehog 4 for episodes 1 and Metal and 2. And until the next 2 months, that Sonic Mania will be on its way for the Let's Play department. So yeah. Alright, so here we go, on to World 4-2, Piranha Creeper Creek. So let's go for Princess Peach. Because we figure we're gonna have to go ahead and select her in this level. So, yeah, regardless of anything else that desirable though, that we decide to actually come back to this game. Even for more parts exponentially, but even then though we don't know when we're exactly going to finish this game eventually, because again, there are some couple of Let's Plays we'll figure we can try to do for our future plannings. So, but I digress. And another thing I need to briefly mention about this is the fact that we're pretty much almost towards the end of Season 7 of My Little Pony Adventures Magic at the moment, because I believe we actually, currently, we did manage to watch 19 episodes, so we only got about, like, 7 more left before the actual movie starts. Well, usually I found it's kind of odd is that they only did recently release those 2 episodes, mainly episodes 20 and 21 at the moment, but they haven't got their release dates on during the other episodes as well. So even then, that we figured this out though, because you know the movie itself will be almost nearly towards to releasing it. So even though we've gotten pretty close. So as far as the United States of America, as far as that's been concerned. So the level stamp in this level right here is that we have to jump off these little piranha creeper, specifically the piranha creeper on the top there, and until we're able to get ourselves our level stamp. So speaking of the piranha creepers, these are the new enemies introduced in this game, which is kind of more likely exactly almost equivalent to the actual normal piranha plants, except that they can actually stretch a bit further. So, and as a result for that too, they do have spikes on them. So even then though, that we're not allowed to touch those spikes on these little stalks over there, because obviously we weren't able to get hit. So yeah, that's as far as I was mainly concerned with this. And I believe this level also contains the secret right there, but we'll save that for the extra video as well on one hand. So now eventually we decide to use our rock band microphone to actually decide to use that normally for this particular latest part of this game. However, though, unfortunately though, our microphone, in this case the regular microphone that we're currently using, is currently still on the whereabouts because you know it's gone all glitchy all of a sudden, and plus we can't exactly hear our commentary very well, so, you know, still we have to cooperate and try to deal with this crappy microphone at the moment right now. Yeah, I kind of miss the old days, how the fact that this is the one microphone that we always use all the time, but unfortunately though, we have to deal with that microphone, I'm afraid. Well, that Meeverse image actually contains a whole bunch of coins with pipes. Oh yeah, another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that eventually until November that the Meeverse supports will actually be no longer going to continuing, which I found was really disappointing and sad at the same time, because Meeverse is actually a pretty cool system for the Wii U, especially the 3DS as well. Because of this though, you can see these little drawings, even especially those stamps exponentially for, you know, Super Mario 3D World and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, Mario Kart 8, and NES Remakes 1 and 2, and I would say Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U, which I'm assuming that's what I was going to be saying for this. So even then though, that unfortunately though, that as far as what according to Nintendo is about to be saying, that the Meeverse support will no longer going to be continuing from this point onwards, so that's a little bit sad. So anyways, we actually come across into this new types of enemies introduced in this game, which I believe is actually called Boulder Blockable, which even then though, there are 2 different methods you can actually just to defeat these guys. Method number 1 is that you can either just manage to, in order to actually temporarily stun on them, is that you have to basically jump on them, and then basically, in order to actually defeat them properly, it's about that once he's got temporarily stunned, you have to either chuck it from the lava, or you can simply just able to actually chuck another one of those rock boulders right into each other. So yeah, that's a pretty cool method. Okay, B-Block Skyway, aka level 4-3. And we meet again with this particular gimmick ever since Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Super Mario 3D Land, which is in forms of these little beat blocks. And once again, depends on the rhythm taste. Sometimes they always change just the block colors, and depends on the rhythm they actually time with, then they decide to change this all types of situation. So in this level's item suggests is the forms of the double cherry. Now we're going to be collecting a majority of the double cherries for the most part because of the green stars, and excluding the likes of the well, I would say 2 green stars and the other one which was for the stamp itself. So that's going to be the main focus throughout, so even then we can hopefully guarantee by that. So yeah, the first green star is very simple to grab, it's simply you have to go from over here, so even then things should be not too complicated around here. And I believe the stamp is just basically, it's right near to the checkpoint is, so even then it's not that far either, so even then we can hopefully guarantee we were able to actually reach up to that point. So, in fact, let's grab ourselves our spare double cherry right over there. and just to actually keep flowing ourselves to all on one hand. So everything should be good to go for at one point or another, at least as far as I can think of. And there's also another cherry over there too. So, there's quite a few things I was going to be mentioning, not to mention, throughout the entirety of the Let's Play itself. Since then, that King Lucius 34 is now going to be coming back. It's been about, for, I would say, 3 months or something like that, since the last part in Super Luigi Galaxy playthrough. We even end up that, unfortunately though, he doesn't have many views, unlike our channel. It's probably because of how the fact that he's just been held up for that entirety of the delay for so long now. And as a result though, on the other hand, that I don't really found that the commentary was a bit unreliable for my taste, but I digress. So yeah, it's important to know that we actually did manage to hold ourselves 5 of ours. In this case, we're going to be using Princess Peach in this level. We're going to be collecting those blue coins into that pipe over down there. Which, yeah, this is actually a second time we're going to be using Princess Peach in this world. So, yeah, it's important to know that we need to hit in here, and if we actually activate the blue switch, or the P switch for that matter, it's important to know that we need to actually spread out the entire clones themselves, because it just makes the entire grabbing those blue coins department super easy. So, if you do that correctly, then you would able to actually get yourselves this second green star. And the final green star is going to be at the very end, but it requires at least 2 clones in order to actually activate the P switch. So, yeah, that's all we can actually figure this out. So, yeah, you know. So yeah, there's not much else we can say besides the actual point that, you know, King Lucius 34 is once again, he's still back in presence for this point. And I believe the only point he actually got into at this point is he actually forms off, he's now actually on the kitchen dome in the likes of Super Luigi Galaxy. So that's one thing we need to clarify that. Can you activate it? Thank you. So there we go, we got all 3 of those green stars now. So, speaking of star stars, the fact that he did recently got himself his new game, in fact the next new PlayStation 4 game, which in forms of Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remakes. Now, unfortunately though, that the copy he did manage to got, that originally he did manage to got himself both of the entirety of the collection itself, both, you know, 1.5 plus 2.5 remakes on the PlayStation 4. Unfortunately though, he got a very bad, unfortunate mistake, happens. It's the fact that, he did recently got it a game, but what happens was though, is the fact that he did accidentally got the duplicate of, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue instead. Which I don't know how that happened, but even then though, I'm pretty sure that's only because of a sense of confusion for pre-owned copies. So, that's a bit unfortunate for him. So now I digress, now we move on to level 4-4, known as High Bounce Highlands. And let's go for blue type in this one. I mean, surely he won't be jumped nearly as high as compared to the other 3, but at least his top speed is actually pretty good. So, especially he's quite powerful than what have you. So, in this level suggests we're going to be constantly bouncing onto those little bouncy mushroom types of platforms over there, which that's as far as again, the level suggests that's how the actual level itself goes. So yeah, hopefully we can get ourselves these red coins from over here. Come on, let's see if we get ourselves a temporary power-up. Oh, just only 1 red coin off from it. Dang it, man. I kinda wish they'll actually decrease that to 5 red coins, just like in Greedy Land, but it just goes back to 8 red coins instead. And speaking of Star Stars, is that I was really super excited for, you know, the Super Mario Odyssey, for at least from now on, because, you know, since thanks to Nintendo Direct. Oh yeah, by the way, we need to actually get ourselves our green spring for this point, because the first green star requires 1. And the second green star is also required for this little, you know, the green spring. And then we weren't able to bounce higher enough until we actually reach that highest height. So, you have to be fast though, because even then, if you do not make it in nick of time, as you can see here, then he will automatically transform back into its normal self. Because, in order to actually get yourselves a green trampoline system to begin with, then you have to stomp on one of those enemies. Or if you actually do this like we do, since we did manage to keep our cat suits for the time being, that means we also am able to use the cat suit power up onto that particular green star at the top. So yeah, there's an easier way to do this. So yeah, let's grab ourselves a fire flower just in case we'll actually keep our super bell power up for our inventory item box. and we would able to actually do it while doing so. And the final green star is simply how you would able to get into this mystery box, and we should able to find ourselves the true spring, and we can able to get ourselves the next green star. So yeah, it's very simple and easy. And speaking of simple and easy, that the level stem is actually not that hard to get. It actually forms off this little circular formation of these little power buds, and it's actually not that hard to begin with. It's just right there. As you can clearly see. So yeah, it's not that too complicated to find, so even then it's just directly to the center. But you have to be very careful with these butterbuds until you actually do not get hit by those particular enemies. So, speaking of such, we're at the end of our level already. Now we need to grab ourselves the green string, so jump up higher enough, and we get ourselves a golden flag. I believe we almost got towards the end of World 4, if I recall, because even then though, I'm presuming unlike how it does it in the first part of this Let's Play, or even sometimes in the second part of the playthrough in Super Mario 3D World, I'm assuming if I can recall for that, depends on what time we've got. I believe much like it does in World 2, this world is actually really short as well, so even then, that we can figure out that we can actually do some little bit of parts involved. Okay, so before we continue, there's going to be another mystery house we can actually go into. Now it's in front of Mystery House Mad Dash. And for this level, we might as well have to go for Mario now, because, have we selected Mario for this world, or is it just me? I don't really think we actually did select him ever since last time. Okay, so for this particular challenge, this is the fact that you need to make yourselves a mad dash until you actually get yourselves a green stars to begin with. So yeah, that's all there is to really say about this particular mystery house, honestly. This particular mystery house can be a little bit easier, but the only ones I found is really too much of a pain sometimes. Oh, there's actually a reference to something from Super Mario 3D Land's final boss battle. Except we don't get chased by Bowser, instead we actually get chased by the Bonsai Bill this time around. So yeah, the only part I found is a little bit tricky with this mystery house compared to how it does in the previous mystery house we've already been into, Mystery House Melee from World 2. I believe it's actually forms of the 9th section, which I always having a lot of trouble at. Well, I can see why until we actually get to that point. And if we go on here, for this particular block of there, we get ourselves a coin head block. Yeah, ever since how it does it in, you know, Super Mario 3D Land and also New Super Mario Bros. 2. So, because of, you know, the coin fest on that particular title. So, anyway though, so yeah, for the most part, as long as you pay attention to the actual level environment, even especially in some sections themselves, that's not too bad and not too complicated either. So even then though, once you figure this out, then we would able to actually clarify to able to finish it. So, okay, so, oh wow, we managed to finish that already. Well, at least a coin block though anyway. Okay, so this part is really difficult because sometimes I always find myself keep on dying a lot, even especially some parts like that. No! We'll be right back. Alright, second attempt for this particular section, and we got ourselves our cat suit power up with us, even though originally we decided to keep it with us, but we don't have any much choice, don't we? We just have to use it. So I digress, the final section in this particular mystery house is the forms of dodging those spikes while actually using those roller stuff. So even then though, that these particular variations of spikes do kind of reminds me, almost resembles to a minigame from, you know, Mario Party Star Rush called Roller Revenge. It's kind of similar to that. Okay, so that does it for that, and now we would able to continue on at this point right about now, which is forms of level 4-5, which actually before we get to this, there's going to be another fight that's going to be down here, which actually leads us to the next enemy arena fight, which is in forms of Fire Bros Hideout number 1. In this case, level 4B. Let's go for Luigi again. But this time around though, we only have 100 seconds! You can't have that! That's a little bit too tricky for the most part. Well, usually it's not that difficult, it's actually pretty easy. Gotta say that much right now. Anyway though. And yeah, and then, yeah, I apologize for the lack of uploads in this schedule department, because, again, we're originally trying to upload these kinds of videos during that 6 o'clock at usual times. But somehow it's going up pretty late due to the fact that it's probably due to the fact that the processing for our recording program is going a little bit too long for my liking, so that's how essentially there's a reason why there has been for about a couple of worth knowing for actually decide to upload this kinds of stuff normally. So anyway though, so let's get out of here, and we were able to actually get ourselves our next stamp right off the bat. And now we can actually get into level 4-5, which I believe the next level is called is Spike's Lost City, which even then though, that actually feels more likely representative, so let's get started. And for this level we might actually go for, let's go for, Peach again? Yeah, why not? Let's go for Peach again. Because, you know, she might be a really easier character to use, so, yeah. In fact, speaking of so-sos, that I believe Mario and Luigi is now going to be doing Super Mario Bros. 2 on the likes of Super Mario All-Stars compilation. So even then, that won't be taking that much of a too much of a desperation surprise. So I apologize for this really incredibly lacking frame rate for the moment. That's only because of how the fact that originally we decided to use it on the 60 frames per second, but you know, unfortunately though, we have to deal with 30 frames per second again, so a little bit of a waste of time for that my departments there. Okay, so level stamp is actually pretty easy to find. It's actually on the very top right here. And the first green star, we need to actually hit it from the pipe down there because we weren't able to deal with the switch puzzle. You can either just simply do this on a normal method, or my personal favorite is that if we actually completely ignore this particular sequence with, while walking on foot, we can able to use our Wii U gamepad to actually activate the switches. Very simple and easy, simple premise. I always love doing that. Even though sometimes it can be a little bit cheap to actually use it from, but at the same time, it's actually really recommendable if you want to keep your power-up with you. Like, for instance, the cat power-up, see, even then we weren't able to save these up until we get to the second green stars, so thanks a lot, you stupid idiots. But even then, you deserve it by getting killed by the rollers themselves. So, anyway though, now the reason why I say that's only because of how the fact that we need to get ourselves our cat bell power up for the second green star, and speaking of the second green star, is that it only requires a cat power up in order to actually get up there, because with normal incarnations of, you know, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, it will not be required for the super formation or the small formation, so it only has to be the cat power up, so neither did the fire flower or even just the Tanuki power up with us for that matter too. So anyways, let's go ahead and climb up there with the cat power up over there, and we should be able to actually go almost all the way higher up, and then that way eventually we get ourselves a second green star. And the third and final green star is not that far, it's actually from over towards this distance over there, so we should able to— whoa. Oh, dude, I was really lucky. But we almost attempted to die on this particular edge of the actual level itself, so even then that we weren't able to become significantly safer for that little dependence right there, so we weren't able to actually become safer. Alright, so there we go, we got ourselves all 3 of these green stars now. So yeah, with that being said though, I was really hoping that Kingdom Society 4 should able to re-pick up the likes of Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 remakes on the PlayStation 4. That's only because of how the fact that game did somehow manage to get the mistake to actually just include 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue again, so I felt incredibly bad for him right now because even though technically he already done like the first Kingdom Hearts Let's Play he's ever done, which he forms of the first game of Kingdom Hearts. So even then though, that's speaking as such that during next year, that we're not going to spoil for anything just yet though, at least as far as you've already doubly checked in our about section in our YouTube channel at the moment, that we're going to be starting to doing a big marathon we're going to be doing for next year. So even then though, you guys should probably know what we're trying to talk about. So I digress. Oh yeah, we got ourselves a slot machine, but we're not gonna go for that honestly, because we already got about, like, I would say, quite a few extra lives at that one point, but even though it doesn't tell me exactly how much extra lives we got currently, so anyways, I have no idea why I double check right there. It's probably because I need to double check on something. So for this castle right there, it only requires 50 green stars in order to actually unlock this level, because, you know, it only requires for doing so. So here we go, on to level 4 castle known as Lava Rock Lair. So let's go for Toad this time, because we haven't usually selected him during the actual castle levels. So we figured we'll just have to select him for that point. So this particular level suggests is that we're going to be exploring for the lava themed level or anything else that's desirable. And we have ourselves this guy again ever since the very beginning of World 4 already. Now we need to actually activate both of those switches, because one of them you need to actually use these rock type enemies in order to actually just to stand one of those switches, and myself included, to actually step onto another switch, so that way we would able to actually load down the bridge and we get ourselves a green star in the process. Very easy, simple said and done though, so even then yeah. Alright, so let's grab ourselves our spare cat power up like that, in case if we have the fact that we've already got that in our inventory item for that one point, then we would able to actually get ourselves the spare cat bell if we manage to decide to get damaged by something, so... Okay, before we get into the mystery box on the other hand, we need to climb up there because it only requires a cat power up to do so, which actually leads us to the rock of stem. So yeah, that's actually a pretty simple premise, but I kind of think about it. And now we get into the hints of the actual mystery box. Oh, that was absolutely unfair. But I digress. Much like from the first green star, is that we need to actually activate those key switches. This time we need to deal with those two rock boulders, if I recall correctly. We were able to actually activate, there's only two switches with these two guys, and also one from just for ourselves. And the final green star is that you need to chuck the boulder in order to actually just to grab it. So yeah, that's very easy to actually get. And now let's go ahead and just to get into the pipe until we actually face off against with the next boss fight in the game. Alright then, so here we go folks, on to the next boss in the game, which I don't know exactly what his name was, even then I would have to double check on research, even though I apologize for this little, I don't know if you noticed, but you're constantly going to be doing our keyboard typing a lot of times. It's only because, again, we're going to be using a crappy microphone or anything like that desirable, so not digress. So, anyway though, that boss in this particular world, and I believe it actually forms of, I don't know what exactly I can really assure of that, but even then though, that it usually contains the boss Boulder, so even then though it's more accurately the larger version of Boulder. So what we have to do is basically it's very simple, is that we need to actually send the regular Boulders right back at him, so we only have to deal with him at least 3 hits, and then that's all you're really trying to do in this fight. So even then though, it's a very simple fight, so I digress. And then we'll eventually finish up with World 4 just from the start. So, even though sometimes it can take a little bit longer time, because, you know, sometimes level lengths can get a little bit longer than it used to be, so I digress. Alright, so let's go ahead and reach up while using the cat power up to actually climb up. And the 4th Sprinkly Princess is saved. And with that being said, World 4 has been completed. Nicely done. Alright then, so 4 worlds down and only quite a few left to go here, so even then we weren't able to actually complete this game during at some point at the end of this year sometime or anything like that, or probably sometime when, you know, Super Mario Odyssey comes out. So yeah, we'll probably be expecting that that's gonna happen though. So let's see what this orange Sprinkly Princess can do. So I believe she's gonna, you know, much like any other Sprinkly Princesses, she'll have ended up the entirety of the clear pipe. And there we go, everything else should be sorted out. And yeah, World 4 is easily completed, so fully completely done with green stars and also stamps and golden flagpoles as well. So yeah, we got the endings of here, I'm afraid guys, so tune us next time on Let's Play Super Mario 3D World for the Nintendo Wii U. It's about that we're going to be moving on to World 5, which, being more accurately, that is pretty cool looking, even though it's all covered in bubbles for some reason. But even then though, we'll figure this out until we actually get into the next video. So yeah, see you guys next time for that. Later fellas, see you guys then.